back again. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what makes Qlik so unique when it comes to data and what we call the associative model. It's tough to understand, so I thought I'd visualize this a little bit with what I consider to be the traditional SQL-based reporting cycle of doom. I've been a SQL DBA for 25 years. I fully understand it. What I also understand is the process behind any kind of SQL-based reporting or visualization that goes on. It starts with someone having a question. They see something in the business, they need an answer. So they end up formalizing that in a question to IT in some way. There's a process usually involved where IT gets a complete set of requirements. They say, sign your name on the dotted line, you tell me everything you need to do, get your director to sign off on that as well, and I'll go off, estimate it, I'll build it, and at some time in the future, once I've got everything done, I'm going to give you back that report. So the answer is yielded next week, next month, it could be next year. So the question that they had last week, last month, last year. Traditionally in businesses, this flow is so cumbersome, there's usually hundreds of report requests waiting in that cycle. It just never ends. And here's the beauty of the cycle. As soon as it's finished, as soon as I got that answer, I've got another question. Oh, can you also show me this now? Because usually answers spark more questions. That's where Qlik comes in with this associative model. It's a completely different process. We load all of those tables into memory so that you can answer the questions. Now, I purposely put this image on there because in your mind, I know you went right to Qlik's going to tell me that they can find the needle in the haystack. Any SQL-based reporting or visualization product can help you find the needle in the haystack. That's not really the issue. You knew that question last week, and that's my point. The question you haven't asked is what haystacks don't have a needle in them. That's really what analytics is about, right? I've got an answer somehow. Now I need to get to the next answer. As soon as I found the needle, maybe I need to know where that needle was manufactured. What field did the hay come from that had the needle in it? What animals provided the manure that was used on the field? Where else did hay from that field get shipped to? How long has the needle been there? What other products are manufactured by the company that made the needle? Which employees were working the minute the needle was manufactured? And so on and so on. That's my whole point, friends. The associative model is different because it's a different process and workflow than a SQL reporting thing. SQL tools do fine if you want to wait till next something to get an answer for what you had last week. To me, analytics, true analytics, whether it's guided or self-service, always involves getting an answer to the next question you ask and getting it right now. When we load that data in, I'm going to show you this data model quickly. All of the tables and all of the data are loaded. This is a full outer join in terms of thinking about how things relate to each other. It's all of the data, a full set of data for all of the tables. There are no inner joins or left joins processed. The data is all there, and it's simply associated based on field names. These field names could be concatenated if I've got many-to-many situations. I don't have to worry about cardinality in that sense because if it's one-to-many, who cares? And if it's many-to-many, like I say, I can create concatenated fields and keys to deal with the data. What that allows me to do in a typical SQL, I would start somewhere. Hey, can you show me claims for a specific CPT code? And then I walk up and down the chain and bring in the data that's just to answer that question. Or I've got a different report. Can you show me processes for a specific provider? Can you show me claims for a specific member? Can you show me the members that had claims that had these things? In this data model, I've got information here, population health type data. about communities and outcomes. I've got information about zip codes. I've got measures that come back. I've got groups where I've diagnoses and comorbidity information. I've got the provider information. Maybe I've got a master calendar and I want to pick a field from here and I need to see the information here, or I picked a field from here and I need to go in any of the 18 directions. SQL to me is very much like an elevator, where the associative model allows me to go up and down to drill, or I can go sideways or diagonal ways or back ways or four ways, or I'm sure you can finish the line if you've watched Willy Wonka, any which ways. The associative model is not just a drill up or down. The associative model is I can go anywhere. Maybe I want to start with, hey, I want to see what this provider has done. I can immediately see the claims that came into us. And you'll see in here, I see this dark gray, which are the claims that are not associated to Dr. Howitt. I have not left data behind in the system. I can see this. If I happen to know Dr. Howitt's main office is in Abbeville County, that would really, really be an important part of the story. When we think of data and we think of SQL and joins, we always use Venn diagrams, and that where clause is what's included. We show you in white what's included, and we also show you what you've excluded, what would normally be left behind in other systems. And so I've started this by starting down here at this table. Maybe that is not the way you wanted to do this at all. Maybe you'd like to start with a specific claim. Let's take a look and say, today I need to look at claim 505. In no time now, just immediately responsive, I've gone all across the model. I now have walked this to know who the provider is. I know what age groups they're in. I know what their age group was. I know what CPT code was used. I know what county the patient's from. I know the walkability score from county health rankings of the zip code for that patient. And I also know all the things that are not included. I could also pick a block of CPT codes. Hey, my question today, right now, is who's had these CPT codes? What claims were done with those? And again, I can see what claims were associated, what claims were not associated with those CPT codes. I can see the information about the zip codes because, again, we're walking the entire model associatively, the way that analytics requires. Now, I've put a bunch of filters on the screen to show you this green, gray, white that Qlik talks about to help understand the associative model. Clearly, all of that data is there. I could present pretty dashboards. It's not about the prettiness to me when it comes to analytic and understanding what makes Qlik unique. What makes Qlik unique is the access to this data. I wouldn't even have to filter this if I didn't want to. I can go off and do a smart search, kind of the way that we deal with data in our lives outside of work, because work has traditionally required that cumbersome process. Write your question down, get an estimate and milestones and process from IT, sign your name on the dotted line, wait some period of time, get the answer to what you asked last month, and then go ask the next question. We walk out of work and we bring up a Google search where we type in what we want. Hey, show me movies that are near me. And we get those answers. We should be able to do those same ease of use things and lower that barrier of entry to analytics for anyone in the workforce. I need to see Howitt. Well, did I mean the member, Augustus Howitt? Am I looking at this patient identifier that has their medical record number and their name? Am I looking for a specific provider that had their provider ID, or am I looking for the physician's name? And I could have went anywhere. More importantly, just like if I were using a Google search, I might have access to images. We're going to show you the charts in the application that have been built out. Hey, maybe I'm looking at the providers list. Maybe I'm looking for the claim details where This is a value for a patient's ID, not the physician. I can jump to any of those charts, or I can simply pick this. If I pick patient identifier Augustus Howitt, which I did not have as a filter on my screen, that would involve a second report and a second set of parameters. I immediately see what claim number it was from, what county they're from, what zip code they're from, the walkability, their age. I can see the admission date, and I can see all the CPT codes that were done for Augustus Howitt. Now, what if I don't even know the name of what I wanted to search? Well, right out of the box, what we can do is show you every single one of the fields in the system and let you just start picking and filtering. I'm seeing everything. And again, what I'm getting now is I'm drilling down in and seeing this green, gray, white, this associative action taking place across my entire data model. Nothing left behind, as you can see here with the dark gray. I get to see everything, and that end user has the ability, as you see, to immediately get access to any of those fields. Yes, during the rest of the videos and things that we've ever shown you, you know that we can do dashboards and scorecards, and we can put pretty charts on the screen. What's important to understand is as I'm clicking these things, you're seeing that associative model in action, and that's the same thing that happens with charts as well. They're responsive to those filters that were selected by the user in a way that really lowers the barrier of entry for analytics.